Okay, the review is for the test for chapter 5 and chapter 6. So there's a lot of material to be covered. Okay, number 1, 8 to 7. 8 over 7. Remember, it won't be multiple choice, so don't change that to 1 and 1/7, okay? Leave it as a fraction. Okay, 0.8 to 12.
0.8 over 12.
Okay, but you want to it says need not simplify? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to simplify. Okay, 6 2/9 to 3 3/4.
6 2/9 over 3 3/4.
Yeah, just put it over it. Mumble, mumble, mumble. Yeah. Okay, number 4. Baseball team played 8. They won 7. You want ratio of 1 to games played.
7 to 8.
7 to 8. 7 over 8. Number 5. In a 3-point shooting contest, they attempted 20, made 7. Ratio of shots made to shots attempted.
7 to 20.
7 over 20. Okay, be careful because it can say ratio of not, how many are not made to the total. So there wasn't one like this on here, but read it carefully and make sure it doesn't say shots not made. Okay? So be careful when you read these. Simplify. Oh good, we get to simplify. 6 to 21, what are we going to divide by?
3.
3 gives us
2 7s.
2 sevenths, which is D. Number 7, $28 to $36.
So divide by 4.
Divide by 4,
7 9.
7 ninths. Number 8, 54 kilometers in 6 hours.
9 kilometer hours.
Kilometers
Over hours.
per hour. So you're dividing by 6, right?
Yes.
Gives you 9 over 1, which is 9 kilometers per hour. We divide by 6, you get 9.
Wait, let me write that.
Over 1. Okay? And it states kilometers over hours. Kilometers per hour. Okay, we have 162.15 meters in 1.15 hours. You know it's going to be meters per hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do that divided by that.
141.
141 exactly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Meters per hour, not hours per meter. Not beat. See the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 10. Tim's car will go 445.5 miles on 13.5 gallons. Miles per gallon. So do the miles divided by the gallons. So do 445.5 divided by 13.5. 33 exact?
Mm-hmm.
33 miles per gallon. Miles per gallon. Okay, 11. A 24-ounce package of coffee costs $4.98. How are you going to get the unit price for that? You have 24 on top or bottom? You need the price per ounce. You need the price on top.
Oh, okay.
$4.98 divided by 24 to give you price per ounce. So what do you get? 4.98 divided by 24.
0.2075.
0.2075. They want you to round to the nearest thousandth of a cent. This is your cent, okay? This is 20 cents. This would be tenth of a cent. in hundredth of a cent, so you really don't need to round. Because the thousandth of a cent would be right there. So it'd be 20 cents, 0.75. If you move it twice, you turn it into cents. Because this would be dollars, would be 27, that's how many dollars per ounce. Changing dollars into cents, you have to move it 2 times from here. So we'd write 20.75 if you're going to do the cents per ounce. So it would be D. And you can check it on your answer sheet to see if you're getting them, if I'm getting them right or we're getting them right, whatever. Okay, number 12. The trim, here's the cost for that much yards. You're going to do the cost on top, cost per yard. So 48.75 divided by 7.5. If you divide that, you'll get the dollar amount per yard. $6.50 for every yard. That would be C. Okay, brand A and brand B. You've got the dollar amount and the ounces. Don't let the order of that confuse you. Make sure you do the dollars divided by the ounce. So you're going to have 1008 divided by 18 ounces for this. 18 ounces for 1008. 1008 divided by 18.
0.56.
Okay. And then the other one is 1239 for 21 ounces. Divide that one out. And B is 0.59. Would you rather pay 59 cents an ounce or 56 cents an ounce?
56.
Lower price is 56, which is brand A. Okay, brand X and brand Y, the same thing. Dollar divided by ounce, dollar divided by ounce. So A, you have 288 divided by 16 ounces, 0.18. And B, you have $1.92 divided by 12 ounces. 0.16? Which one's the best? 16 cents is better than paying 18 cents. Oops.
Brand B.
Brand B, which is not, that should have been X or Y, I'm sorry. X or Y. Y, which is
D.
the D answer. Okay, we have proportions. I'm going to make them bigger, make it a little easier to see here. When you have a proportion, make sure you multiply. Cross products, the ones that are cross, multiply those and divide by the one that's by itself. 7 times 45 divided by 15. Doesn't come out evenly, does it?
Yep, 21.
21.
21?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Because you have to do 315 divided by 15.
Yeah, okay. And how about this one? This one doesn't come out even. 15 times 1 is 15, divided by 2 is 7.5, right? Is 7.5. Number 17, 2.9 times 7, divided by 2. 10.15.
Yes.
Okay, and this one, 10 times 1/2 would be 5, right?
Yeah.
Divided by 5 is 1. Number 19, we have a lot of fractions there. Okay? I'm going to write it out. We're doing 1/4 times 1/4, and then we're dividing by 1/28. When you divide, you're going to flip it over, aren't you? So we're going to flip this one over. We're going to have 1/4 times 1/4 times 28 over 1. Let's do some dividing. Divide by 4 is 1. Divide by 4 is 7. 117 is 7. 7 over 4, which is
4, 7. Wait.
1 3/4, right?
Oh,
Yep.
D.
The multiply.
One is, you gotta divide it, yeah. Okay, number 20, use a proportion to solve it. The ratio of height to width. Okay, to solve this, I want you to put height over width. Height to width would be height on top, width on bottom. Height to width is 5 to 19. Okay? What's the rest of it? It says if the height is 3.5, where are we going to put 3.5? Top. That's why we put the H and W, so we know where to put it. So what's the width? Multiply these two. 3.5 times 19. Divide by your 15. 13.3? Yes?
Wait, I thought somehow.
Okay, put height to width is 5 to 19. Height to width, 5 to 19. Then it says the height is 3.5. So if the height is 3.5, you put it on top where the H is.
13.3 inches.
13.3, and since these were all in inches, or this part was inches, you know the bottom part's in inches. Okay, on 21. On a map of the Thunderbird Country Club golf course, 2.5 inches represents 45 yards. What should I put here? Inches,
Inches over yards.
inches and yards. 2.5 is your inches. 45 is your yards. Okay, how long is the fifth hole if the map shows 9 inches? Is 9 go on top or bottom?
Top.
Where the inches are, right? So do 9 times 45 and then divide by 2.5.
16.2.
What? 162? 162 yards. Remember, this is yards on the bottom, so it's going to be in yards. You aren't going to have multiple choice on all of them, so don't forget your units. Okay, a math teacher claims that the students' test scores are directly proportional to the amount of time spent studying. So you got the scores and the studying time. So you're going to go the scores and the time. Okay? So you could put score over hours or score over time, whatever you want to put. Don't put S over S. Scores over study time. Don't make sure it's different letters. Okay, so Amy studies 8 hours and gets a 70. Where does the 8 go? The time. You can put hours if you want. Okay? 8 hours gets a 70 score. So at this rate, how many hours would it take to get a 97?
11.085.
How many hours to get a 97? So multiply 97 times 8, and then you can divide by the 70.
11.09.
11.09 hours? I almost covered it up. Yeah. Okay, now the two triangles. Look at these triangles. We're going to need to turn one of them around so they're both facing the same direction, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to try to flip it in your head and you'll probably make mistakes. So let's flip one of them. We need to put the big one over here or put the little one over here. It doesn't matter. I'll just put the little one over here so we have room to work. We're going to have it where it's the same way, where our right angle's in the same spot. The bottom part here is 12, so this will be 12. the other part, these two are your legs that make a right angle. The other leg is 5. The hypotenuse is 13. Across from the right angle is 13. Okay, now we're going to look at these two triangles to figure it out. We need to know X. What happened?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. Why do you have it sideways?
I rotated it accidentally, so I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to rotate it. I bumped it. I know. Like, whoa, what did I do? Okay, we need to find X. Now that we've got everybody dizzy, okay, we're going to be using the X and the 5 for sure. Actually, you can use either one of these or these. Just pick which one you want to use. If you want to go like this and say, I'm going to use X and 24, then you're going to use it at 5 and 12. Okay? You could do 13, 5, and 26 and X. But we're going to go ahead and use these here. X 24 and 5 12. So let's go 5 over 12 equals X over 24. So go 5 times 24 divided by 12. So you get X is 10?
Yep.
Okay, what if we did it the other way? 13 over 5.
X over, oh wait.
13, 5, 16, 26, X. 13 over 5, 26 over X.
Oh yeah.
Multiply those, divide by 13, you're still going to get 10, okay? You set it up either way you want to. Okay, for these triangles here, we know we're going to use these, right? Okay, on the little triangle you can use 4 and 6, and use 8 and X, or you can use 5 and 6, and the big triangle 10 and X. So let's do 4 and 6. Let's do our 8 over X equals 4 over 6. Multiply 6 times 8 is 48 divided by 4 is 12, right? Mm-hmm. Or you could say 5 over 6 equals this top over bottom is top over bottom, 10 over X. 60 divided by 12 is, 60 divided by 5 is 12 again. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Think ahead and say the wrong number. Okay, these are already in the same direction, so no flipping. We need to find X, so we know we're going to use X and 20. 14 over X equals 10 over 20. Okay? So what do you get, 28? 14 times 20 divided by 10. Should be about 28. Right? Okay. Or you could have went 21 over X equals this over this equals 15 over 20. Should get the same answer. Okay, I'm going to get another paper to do the next one because I don't have much room to work. I want to draw a picture. Okay, a tree casts a shadow 40 meters long. So I'm an artist, so I'm going to show you my artwork. This tree is casting a shadow. The shadow goes to here. The shadow is 40 meters long. At the same time, a shadow cast by a statue is this long. So let's put a statue over here. We have a person with curly hair. That's a beautiful statue. And it's casting a shadow 54 centimeters long. The statue is 57 centimeters. Okay, see how these are both centimeters? How tall do you think the tree will be? It'll be in what? In meters. So when we find this number, we know it's going to be in meters. Okay, so we're going to put the object over the shadow. The object of the tree, we don't know. I'm going to go ahead and put M because we know it's meters. M over the shadow's 40. And the statue, 57. The shadow, 54. So do 57 times 40, divide it by 54.
1.2 repeating.
42.2 meters, huh? Now let's see if that was there. Yep, it was. 42.2 meters. We have similar objects again. You're just going to go this over this equals this over this. 5 over 15 equals x over 30. And you're going to multiply, divide, and you will get 10, right?
Yep.
Another one, h over 6 equals 7.5 over 9, right? This over this over this. 7.5 times 6 divided by 9.
5.
5
feet.
feet. These were inches, these are feet, so your answer's in feet. Number 29. Percent. If you don't have multiple choice, make sure you remember how to write these, okay? Because it's not going to be all multiple choice. 4%, you need to write that over what? Percent means out of 100. Or you can write it times 1 over 100, or as a decimal. Yeah. I was going to put 0.04, but that's not how it has it. 4 times 0.01. If you wrote that, I would accept it if it wasn't multiple choice, because that's still another way to write it. So that would be D. Okay, number 51, write as a decimal. You have to move it back twice. 1, 2. So 0.51. Move this one back twice.
0.699.
Don't forget the 0, okay, guys? 0 point. Okay. If we have 0.8, we still have to move it back twice from where it's at. 1, 2. That's 0.008. You have to have the right number of zeros, okay? Or it won't be right. 1.5, or 1 1/5, I'm sorry. What is 1/5 as a decimal? Oh, 0.2. 1 divided by 5. 5 into 10 is 2. So the 1/5 is 0.2. So this is the same as 1.2%. You need to change that into a decimal. It's still percent right now. We need to move it 2 times. 1, 2, 0.012. Okay, 5/8. 5 divided by 8. 8 will go 6. Into 20 it'll go 2. And then in 40 it'll go 5. So 5/8 is 0.625. So you have 59.625%. We need to move that 2 times. 1, 2. So 0.59625. Don't leave numbers out unless it tells you to round, don't round. Okay, this record store is offering 4% off for the month of December. You're writing a decimal for the percent, so just change 4% into a decimal. 0.04. Don't put the percent sign on it. You're changing it to a decimal. Okay, find the percent notation, so we're moving it back to the right now. From here, you have 0.46 to change it to percent. To the right, so we have 46%. So 0.9 is what?
90%.
90. 0.505?
50.5%.
50.5%. 2.
20%.
200.
Oh.
Moving it twice and it was behind it. You always have to follow the number with the decimal if it's not there. Okay, so you want a percent for the decimal. It was 0.0059. The percent for that would be 0.59. 0. Got the wrong one. 0.59%. 87 out of 100. How would you write that as a percent? If it's over 100, it's just that number right there, 87. 1/10. That's not over 100. If you add a 0 to the bottom and top, you've got 10%. How about 1/2? Next up. 1/2. What would you multiply 2 by to get 100? 50. And you get 50 over 100. So it's 50%. 1/2 is 50%. You knew that before you came to class today, right? Yeah. And that didn't need to be rounded. Even though it says this, don't decide you have to start putting a 10th over there. Okay, it says if necessary. 5/12. Okay, let's do this as a decimal because we're going to need this as a decimal. We can't turn 12 into 100 easily. 1/2 is 0.5, isn't it? What did we do to the decimal to turn it to percent? We moved it 2 times to get 50, right? Okay, so let's do 5/12. 5 divided by 12, make a decimal, and then we will move it. Okay, 12 into 50 is 4. 48. 12 into 20? 1. How about 12 into 80? I don't know. Let's do 12 times 7 is 84. That's too many. So 6. 12 times 6, 6 times 2, 72, right? 6 times 12, 72, and there's an 8. So it's going to keep going 6 again, right? Okay, it's still a decimal. It's not the percent yet. 0.416 repeating, and we won't only write 3 of them. We're going to have to move it twice to get the percent. So we have 41. And then what did it say to round to?
Nearest
10th. That would be right there. Because of the 6 that follows it, would be set 0.7. Change the 6 to 7. 41.7%. 45. In one company, 4 out of every 10 use their sick time. 4 out of 10. This is total. This is how many use it, right? What percent use all their sick time? 4 out of 10. We could add the 0, right? Make it 100. 40%. Okay, find fraction notation and then simplify. If it's a percent, how do you make it a fraction? That's to be a decimal. What about a fraction?
It'd be 110.
Over 100. Okay, now we need to simplify that. So divide by 10 makes 1/10, right? Okay, so let's do this one. What we need to do here is turn that into an improper fraction first. 7 times 42 and then add 6. $294 plus 6 is 307. This is our percent. Okay? Remember another way of writing it, you could do 307 times 1 over 100. Remember that first page, was it, or second page? Third page, of course, fourth page. This one right here, where it said to rewrite the percent, you could either put it over 100 or times it by 1 over 100. This was a whole number, so it wasn't as big deal. This one, we want to times it by 1 over 100. Okay, so you put 300 over 700, or you could have divided by 100 first if you wanted to. Either way, it's going to simplify to 3 over 7, because you're going to divide by 100 on top and bottom. So that's 3/7. Okay, 87.5, we need to make that into a fraction. Okay, if you want to put that as a decimal over 100, what we need to do to make them both whole numbers, if we move this decimal one time, we need to move this decimal also. Add a 0 to the bottom. 875 over 1,000. Divide by 25 for sure. What do you get when you divide by 25 on the top and bottom? 35 on top, and on bottom? 40. And what can we divide those by? Divide by 5, we get 7 over 8. Okay, 49. A serving of cooked rice provides 5%. What are we going to do with that number? Find fraction for the percent. 5% is what? 5 over 100, divide by 5. 1 over 20. Okay, translate to an equation and solve. Okay, I need to get rid of that part. You can put it into a proportion. Just solve it, okay? So, solving it, remember we do the is over the of equals percent over 100. We don't know the is. The of is 200. The percent is 25. Percent goes over 100. So 25 times 200 divided by 100. 50. Okay. The is, you don't know. Of is 3,100. 3 is your percent, goes over 100. Multiply, divide, you get 93. Okay. And this one the same again. Is over the of equals a percent, which is 5 over 100. So multiply, divide. 7.6, since this was dollars, it was written in dollars. $7.60. No translate, just solve. Okay, what percent, so we don't know the percent, of 90 is 45. Multiply, divide,
50%.
50%. Okay. Is 105 of 21%, you don't know. Multiply, divide.
500.
500. You realize you're not having to move your decimal, right? You just do it, you get the answer. Okay? What percent of 24 is 16? 1600 divided by 24. 66.6 repeating. 0.6 repeating is 2/3. You don't have multiple choice, I'll accept this or where you write the repeating side, either one. Okay, 45 is what percent of 36? What percent 45 is of 36? So 4,500 divided by 36. 125, 125%. Here we have is over of. 88 is of what? We have 40 is our percent. 88 times 100 divided by 40. 220. Are you checking it?
No, I'm
Okay.
the problem.
Okay. Does anybody check in to make sure we're doing this
Yeah,
right?
I am.
Okay. 16 is, $16 is 5% of what? This will be in dollars. 16 times 100 divided by 5.
320.
What is it?
320.
$320. Because 16 was in dollars. 59. 187 is 44%. Percent goes over 100 of what? 187 times 100 divided by 44. 425. Okay.
425.
Translate to proportion. What is? Okay, they put it backwards. They put the 100 on this side over here. Well, they didn't do it anyway. We would have what is 18% of 96? They have A instead of X. So it looks like it would be this one. They just have it on different sides, right? You have the 18 over 100 on the front side.
Yeah.
Okay? X over 96, A over 96, 18 over 100. Translate to a proportion and solve. I'm actually just looking at the solutions, okay? What is 30% of 700? 210? Okay, 37% of 1,400 is what? 518? Okay, translate to a proportion and solve. We have 62.5%. We just put 62.5 over 100 of 1,400 is what? Multiply, divide. 875. Okay. What percent of 720 is 36? 3,600 divided by 720. 5%. Okay, on a biology test, the student got 25 correct, but they didn't pass. On the second attempt, they got 37 correct. What was the percent of increase? Okay, this is where you subtract them and you put the change, the subtraction, the difference, how much it changed by over the original, or the first number, equals percent over 100. So what did it change by? 37 to 25? They got 12 more, so it changed by 12. What was the original number? The 37 or the 25? The first attempt was 25. The second attempt was 37. Oh, so the first number was 25. Their first attempt. So you got to put the 25 because that was their first one. Okay, that's percent over 100. So 100 times 12 divided by 25. Times 12, that was the difference. How much did it change by?
48.
Changed by 48%. Okay, on the next one, sales of frozen pizza for a club fundraiser increased from 500 to 560. You can't read that very good, I wrote on it. So what did it change by?
60.
It changed by 60. What was the original or first number?
500.
From this to that. So 500 was the first one. It's not always the biggest or smallest. You have to find the first one. 60 times 100 divided by 500.
12%.
12%. $67. By switching providers, they decreased their bill from 50 to 45. What did it change by? $5. What was their first? The first amount was 50. Percent over 100. 500 divided by 50, 10%. They decreased it by 10%. The price reduced from 400 to 240. What's the change? What did it change by? 160 when you subtract it. And what was the first number? 400 was the first number. Percent over 100. Multiply, divide. 40?
40.
69. The normal gasoline mileage of a car is 49 miles per gallon. On a smooth road, its mileage is 12% higher. What is its mileage on a smooth road? So it's 12% more than 49. You can either find 12% and then add it to 49, or the easier way would be getting 112%. 100% plus the 12%. So if you do 112% of 49, you'll get the new gas mileage without having to add it. Everybody, does that make sense? Okay? Huh? Times it straight. Then you have to divide by 100. Or 1.12. What'd you get?
54.9.
54.88, and then you round it to the 10th.
It's going to be 54.9.
Right, 54.9 miles per gallon. If you do 49 times 112, you'll have to move the decimal. 54.9. Yeah. 112 times 49 divided by 100.
Yeah.
112. Because you do the 12% plus the 100%, where you don't have to add it on. If you only do 12%, you have to add 49 back to it.
I just did 49 times 1.1.
1 point, yeah.
Yes.
That's the same, yeah. Okay, after receiving poor service, they decided to leave a tip of only 12%. If the meal was 33, what's the amount, the total paid? So, the same thing, 112% of the number. Because you're doing 12, it costs you 12% plus your meal. So you do 112% of the meal. Yeah. 36.96? Okay, 36.96. Yeah, you can do it this way, or you can just do the number times 1.12 if you want. Either way.
So you just put, you just add 100.
It's still the same thing. You still divide it by 100. You can do it this way or this way.
What's the
Okay.
other way?
This way is a,
Yeah, what the other way it's cut off.
oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The number times 1.12. And this
Oh.
49, you could have did 49 times 1.12.
Okay. It's just because the,
It turned we turned the percent into a decimal
yeah.
instead, yeah. Okay, he's driving with a headwind, which decreases his speed by 17%. The normal mileage is 50 miles per gallon. It decreases miles per gallon. What's his car's mileage with the headwind? You don't do 17% unless you're wanting to subtract it from 50. Okay? You can do 100%. Minus 17 is 83%. He's going to get 83% of his gas mileage now. You can do 83 over 100, 83% of his miles per gallon, or you can do the miles per gallon times 0.83, either way. 83 times 50 divided by 100, or 50 times this. What do you get? 41.5? Yeah. Okay, 72. Okay. They found that sales have decreased by 5% from last year. Last year's sales are 163,276. Find the amount of last year's sales. You're not finding, let me see, find the amount of, you need last year's sales. This year is 5% less than last year's, right? Or of last year's. You want the of in there because that's what we need for our percent thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we know this year's, right? That's our is part.
Yeah, we know it's.
We're not putting it on the bottom anymore. We know the is 163,276. This is a 5% decrease. So what number are we going to use? Not 5. 95. 100% minus 5 is 95%. I put that on the bottom. It's supposed to be the top.
Yeah.
Oh, you confused me. That's
No,
why.
I remember.
I'm sorry.
like, she just said don't.
163,276 is 95%
Over
of last year's.
So we're
Sorry.
trying to find out.
So 163,276 times 100 divided by 95. 171,869.47. What? 0.47. It says to round to the nearest dollar.
So it's the,
171,869. A camera costs $640. Sales tax is 6%. How much tax is charged? Not what's the total price. So don't add 100% to it. It just wants to know the tax, which is 6% of your cost. 6% of your cost is your tax. 6 times 640 divided by 100. 3840? Okay, now 74, a camera costs $760, tax is 8%. How much tax is charged and what is the total price? So read what it's asking you to give them, okay? So you have to find the tax of 8%. 8% of 760. So what's the tax? 8% of 760? $60.80?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 60, 80, and it wants the total price, so you have to add the price back on. $760. So this is your tax. Yeah, 8%, that's almost what we pay. We pay more than that now? It used to be 7 something now, and that's a lot of money though.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get a lot of money. Okay? So if you buy $800 worth of something, you're going to be spending $60-something in taxes. That's a lot, huh? $800, 8% is $64. Lots of money. There's your total price right there. Okay, cable costs this much. Sales tax is $24.60. What is the tax rate? It's what to know the percent. We don't know the percent. Okay, the tax is what percent of the total, Okay, so the total's 410. The tax will go on top, 24.60. So 2460 times 100 divided by 410. That's only 6%? And it seemed like a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Table and chairs cost $256. Tax is $20.48. What's the rate? Percent over 100. The tax is $20.48. This tax is what percent of the total? $256. 8% exact? 8%. 77, what's your commission? If you get 3% and you sold $120 worth of books. 3% of 120 is what? It's not much. You only get $3.60. You sold the $120 worth of books, and you only get $3.60. Sucks to be a salesman. You only get 3%. Okay, Ellen sells $9.50 worth of clothes, and she earns $38 in commission. What's her rate? What's her percent? Her commission is what percent of what she sold? 4%, a little better than the 3%. 79. Principal rate time, simple interest. You only have to do the interest as the principal times the rate times the time. Rate has to be a decimal, remember? Time has to be in years. Remember that. Principal, 400. The rate, 7%, turn it to a decimal.
0.07.
0.07. Time?
2.
2 years, just put a 2. So that will give you your interest. 400 times 0.07 times 2. Got about 56. Or 56.
56.
56. Okay, number 80. Principal times the rate, 6%, 0.06. And the time, 5 years, just put a 5. Multiply straight across.
Well,
27,480. 27,480. Okay, this one isn't as simple. We have a fraction here, but we got the principal, 1670. Yeah, let's see. Interest rate is 1.5%. 1.5 is 1.5. Turn that to a decimal. 0. Point what? Number 81. We're doing 1.5%.
0.015.
0.15. We had to move it from here back 2 times. Time in years is 6. Multiply those numbers. 150, 30.
Yep.
Wait, I have a question. How come it's 0.015?
Okay, you had 1.15%.
Yeah.
When we had 6%, we went from here, 1, 2.
Then I can't see.
6%, we went 1, 2. We made it 0.06, right?
Yeah.
We always move it back twice.
Oh, never mind.
7
okay.
was back twice, so this is 1, 2.
Okay, yeah. I remember.
Okay.
I got confused.
82. Cafe borrows $5,400 at 7% for 140 days. This is still simple interest. We're doing days instead of years now. Okay? So we have the fifth, let me see where I can write it here. We have 5,400 at 7%. How are we going to write 7%?
0.07.
Right, 0.07. 140 days. We're going to
140
use,
over 365.
right, we use 365 day year. We use 365 for the days. If it was months, we would say over 12, right? This is days out of 365 days. So multiply those 3 numbers, divide by 365. That's the interest.
$14.49.
Okay, that's, the answer's not going to be there yet. Was it 14.49?
0.49. So it'd probably be 14.50 because you're going to round it.
To the nearest penny,
Yeah.
nearest cent. You got 144? That's probably right.
I got 144.9863.
Let's multiply again. Anybody else get 144? Yeah?
I got
Okay, it's 144.9.
49863.
986. So we're going to round that to $144.99. That's the tax, or I mean the interest, right? It says that you want the total amount. On simple interest, don't mess up and put the 1 here like you do on compound, okay? It's not going to come out right. You have to figure out the tax and then add it to your principal. You have to add the 5,400 back on. So the total amount paid will be $55,44.99, which is C. you have to do it separate, interest and then add it on. The compound, you won't have to do it separate, but this one you do. Okay, John forgot to pay his $413 income tax on time. They charged 20% for the 29 days it was late. Find the penalty. All you need is your penalty, not the total amount paid. So you only need 20% for 29 days. Your amount was $413. 20%, how are we going to write that as a decimal?
0.20.
0.20, right. Back twice. And the 29 days?
29 over 365.
Right. So you multiply all three of those, divide by 365. So what was the penalty? $6.
$6 and then round it. It's
5, 6
56.
what?
656.
What was not after the 6?
A 2.
Yeah. So round to the nearest penny. Drop the 2. That's not too bad. $6 for, that's only a month. Well, if you forgot for very long, you might end up paying them a lot. Okay, now let's do some compounded annually. This is the one that we add the 1 in front. Don't do it to the simple, only compound. Okay, 84, we have $5,900 at 9.4% compounded annually for 2 years. Okay, principal, that part stays the same. Okay, the 9.4%, turning this to a decimal would be 0.094. We don't put that number here. What do we put?
1.094.
We change this one to a 1. Okay, how many times do we put this here? This is annually.
2 times.
Right, for every year. Annually for 2 years, so do it 2 times. And when you get that, you should get the total amount that you would owe or have earned. If you had it in a savings account, that would be what would be in your account, the total. And what do you get?
7061.3324.
7061.33